Strange and Scary Mysteries of the Month is a compilation of the weird, disturbing, and downright baffling stories currently happening in our world. From UFOs and serial killers, to ancient sites, mysterious creatures, and even ghosts, these are the Strange and Scary Mysteries of the Month, February 2017. Number 5. UFO captured on ISS film feed. NASA has been at the center of controversy more than once when their ISS feed has ended up capturing strange anomalies in the sky. This time around, eagle-eyed viewers spotted another UFO during one of the live streams before the signal was abruptly cut off. Is it a man-made craft? Perhaps space debris? Or could it be an alien craft? The feed in question was taken on January 20th, 2017. The object was seen floating above Earth by John Craddick, who's an avid viewer of the ISS feed. He was in the process of teaching a friend about how to use it when he spotted the unidentified object. He says, "At first it was really small and then it grew bigger, lasting for about 25 seconds. And he's convinced that these are of alien origin because, as he added, nothing human can fly that high." This encounter echoes another UFO sighting on the feed from July, when another user captured a UFO seemingly rising out of the Earth's atmosphere. However, the NASA stream inexplicably cuts off due to technical issues, just when the craft stops mid-air. So is this proof that aliens have been visiting Earth? Naysayers explain it away as ice particles or light reflections from the space station, or even distant satellites or some sort of space junk. However, the government has been known to keep information hidden from civilians before, so perhaps this is just another example in a long line of misinformation. Trick of the eye or not, no one has a clear answer as to what it is we're seeing on screen, and so the option of it being a spacecraft from another distant alien race remains a possibility. Number 4. Case solved. Righteous Brothers murder. After 40 years, the cold case murder of Karen Kloss, the ex-wife of Righteous Brothers member Billy Medley, has finally been solved. On January 30th, 1976, Karen had returned home after dropping her son off at school. Inside the Hermosa Beach mansion, she was attacked, raped, and strangled using her own pantyhose. She was found barely alive and rushed to the hospital, where she spent 5 days in a coma before the 32-year-old mother eventually succumbed to her devastating injuries. The murder would remain a cold case until 41 years later when detectives reopened it and ran the old evidence using a new DNA technique, and this time they caught a break. The detectives announced they had identified Kenneth Troyer as Karen's killer. Troyer was also a suspect in various sexual assaults throughout California during the time. Although he was originally a suspect for the murder, he was never arrested, but was imprisoned instead for a different crime. He escaped in 1982 and was subsequently killed while evading arrest. The police used a familial DNA search using the preserved evidence. This process involves searching for the closest familial DNA match from any criminal whose file is uploaded in the federal database. The match resulted in a relative of Troyer's, and the police were now sure that they got their man. While the motive is still unclear, the police uncovered that Troyer had a relative who was living around Karen's home at the time, which could explain why he was in the area in the first place. While it's been 41 years, Bill Medley and his sons are grateful to finally have closure. Number 3. The Demon Picture. This image has been viewed over and over and shared hundreds of thousands of times, and people still don't know what to make of it. Captured in Arizona, it was uploaded on a Facebook account by Richard Christensen with the caption, "What the hell do you see in this picture for reals? Anybody?" The image shows a scene with lights and a hazy fog covering the area. The street lights glow a menacing warm yellow hue, and if you look closely, the image seems to showcase a demon standing in the far center. It appears large with giant wings protruding from its back. So is it really a demon? Perhaps the Mothman? Or is it just a unique case of pareidolia? Commenters flooding in have offered their opinion, from someone saying it's a frontline demon to others saying it's an angel. At least one user was skeptical, saying it's just palm trees shrouded in fog and shadow. If it is indeed a demon, then what does its presence mean? Whatever you believe, there's no denying it's a menacing and mysterious picture. Number 2. Excop charged for 25 murders. Cops usually protect people, but in rare instances it's the people that need protecting from them. Excop Mikhail Popkov is deemed to be one of the worst serial killers in Russian history. Also known as the werewolf, the former cop would target women who he justified were immoral because they were out late at night. He would abduct these women by offering to give them a ride home, but instead of doing that, he would drive them to a secluded spot, sexually assault them before killing them using various tools like knives, screwdrivers, and even an axe. The bodies would then be discarded in the woods, and even though DNA was left at the crime scene, the police never tested their own members when they ran it. By June 2012, Popkov was arrested after a victim managed to escape and said that a cop had attacked her. They checked the DNA evidence against their own retired and current police officers and found Popkov. A thorough investigation began and police were able to link him to several unsolved murders. The werewolf was initially sentenced to life in prison for committing 22 murders, but more recently he has admitted to killing an additional 25 more women during his 18-year rampage. He disclosed where the bodies were located, and true enough, the police uncovered a huge number of bodies. There are also about a dozen more killings that are being investigated and could potentially be connected to him. If the latter crimes are indeed his work, this would make him the worst serial killer in Russian history, much more prolific than the 52 killed by Andrei Chikatilo, also known as the Butcher of Rostov. As for motives, Popkov started his killing spree after suspecting that his wife was cheating on him. He said he stopped abducting women around 2001 when he contracted syphilis from one of his victims, rendering him impotent. Described by relatives as a perfect husband and father, Popkov nonchalantly told investigators, "I just felt I wanted to kill a woman I was giving a lift to in my car." Russia has not executed anyone since 1996, and so this sadistic killer, who may be one of the most prolific murderers in the entire world, will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Number 1. Case solved. Bear Brook murders. The Bear Brook murders, also dubbed as the Allentown Four, had remained unsolved for over 30 years. The first victims were found in Bear Brook State Park in New Hampshire in November of 1985, when a hunter stumbled across a 55-gallon drum with the bodies of an adult female and a younger female stuffed inside. By May 2000, the bodies of 2 younger girls were also found in a metal drum near the site of the first one. The woman, the 5 to 11-year-old girl, and the 1 to 3-year-old victims were linked via DNA. This means the older woman could be their aunt, mother, or even older sister. Meanwhile, it's unsure how the other girl, who is 2 to 4 years old, is connected with them. All the bodies were very badly decomposed, and they are believed to have been killed sometime between 1977 and 1985. It wasn't until 2017 when a missing woman by the name of Denise Bowden, who was 23 years old, was linked to the case that investigators caught a break. Denise mysteriously disappeared in 1981 after attending Thanksgiving dinner with family, her infant daughter, and her boyfriend, Robert Evans. Soon after she disappeared, the family didn't report her missing because they thought she was fleeing town because of financial problems. But in 2016, authorities decided to file an official missing persons report about her. Her daughter was tracked down and found to be alive and well. Apparently, Robert Evans left Denise's daughter in an RV park in California, where she was later found and adopted. As for Denise, her whereabouts are still unknown. But this led authorities to use DNA evidence from Robert, and they found that it linked him as the father of the 2 to 4-year-old girl who was found in one of the barrels. While the woman in the drum is not Denise, authorities believe that Evans killed the woman and the children and placed them in there sometime around 1980 to 1984. Evans was a known killer of women who was arrested and later died in prison in 2010. He was in jail for murdering and dismembering his wife, Yoon Soon Jun, in 2002. While the case is still underway and the identity of the victims is still unclear, police are confident they have found the killer and hope to have more answers soon. So there were the strange and scary mysteries of the month for February 2017. Every day, strange and scary stories are happening all around the world. These are just a handful, but there's still so much more to discover. If you enjoyed this video, then please remember to subscribe to our channel. We have many new scary mysteries coming out every single week that we're sure you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.